Brandon Ingram is the future of the Cleveland Cavaliers, and I do not know why nobody is truly talking about why the Cleveland Cavaliers need to trade for Brandon Ingram. Now, when we look at Brandon Ingram, we know that Brandon Ingram is a electrifying shot creating player, right? Now, I know he gets a lot of slander, and it is some people that question his motive, but honestly, when you look at the artwork of Brandon Ingram, I truly think he is the perfect player for the Cleveland Cavaliers. And when you look at what he can bring to the Cleveland Cavaliers with his shot creation alongside a Donovan Spider Mitchell, you get a recipe for success. Now, take it from anybody, but today I really want to emphasize why Brandon Ingram makes sense for the Cleveland Cavaliers. And you say, hey, Rell, what's the proof? What is what you're going off of right now that's going to prove to us that Brandon Ingram is that player that the Cleveland Cavaliers should be eyeing? And I say, hey, all right, let's do it this way. I'm going to show you the stats. I'm going to show you the progression because I was one that was never someone that was high on Brandon Ingram. I'm going to keep it a buck, right? That knows me, you know that I wasn't high on Brandon Ingram. But when you look at it now, when you look at the artwork, look at those stats. Look at those beautiful, beautiful stats from Brandon Ingram. And then you say to yourself, oh my God, Brandon Ingram is only 26 years old. And by the season, he'd be 27, which means he would have just in the eyes of the NBA, he would have just been hitting his prime. And I ask you today, are you going to stop yourself from understanding that Brandon Ingram is the player the Cleveland Cavaliers need to trade for? And me, you see, I got my name Relly. I'm looking like a Pokemon when you gotta introduce yourself. But I'm gonna keep it a buck with you guys. Brandon Ingram is the player that the Cleveland Cavaliers need, right? I know it's rumors that we need Cam Johnson, and I get it. You like that player. You like that he can catch and shoot. You like that he can do that. But honestly, let's be honest for a second. Do we need a catch and shoot, or do we need someone who can create his own shot? And that's what I gotta ask you today. Now, let's be honest, right? It's a lot of factors on the Cleveland Cavaliers that's going to separate us from being the team we need to be, right? Because as a matter of fact, the Cleveland Cavaliers has proven that we are a good team, right? We made the playoff the last 2 years. We had our struggles, but Cleveland has proved that they are a playoff contending team. The next step for the Cleveland Cavaliers is showing the league that we can pursue a championship. And what we need to do that is another player that can create his own shot. Because you say, all right, Cam Johnson, right? But the problem with Cam Johnson is that he can create a shot, but he's not at the tier of Brandon Ingram. And when you look at a playoff series, right, what typically happens in a playoff series? What happens in a playoff series is that a player like Cam Johnson is going to force a team that's going to double Donovan Mitchell. And because they're going to double Donovan Mitchell, right, when they double Dom, what's next for the Cavs, right? What's next is you need another person that's going to create. But if all your team does is waiting for someone to set them up and catch and shoot, what's that going to do for Donovan Mitchell? Absolutely nothing, because they cannot create their shot. Now, we got Caris LeVert, right? But Caris LeVert is coming off the bench, right? We do not have any intentions of Caris LeVert putting up a star performance for 4 straight games in a playoff series, right? You look for a player like that that's going to give you solid production, but he might have like 2 outbreaks out of a best of 7. You get what I'm saying? Not for a star performance, which I believe, matter of fact, correction. I know Brandon Ingram is that player that's going to give us the production that we need for the Cavs to be successful, right? You look at a playoff series, what does he bring? He brings a player that's not going to stop creating his shot. What does he bring? Brandon Ingram brings a player that's going to keep going out there. What does he bring? He brings the mentality that the Cleveland Cavaliers have been soul searching for the past 5 years. Brandon Ingram is that guy, and I get it. I get it. The money he's going to be asking for is crazy, it's ludicrous. But when you have a player so dynamic as Brandon Ingram, you have to pull the plug when you have Donovan Spider Mitchell. And I'm telling you, Donovan is going to want Brandon Ingram, and he's going to play perfectly with Brandon Ingram because Brandon Ingram is the guy that the Cleveland Cavaliers need to pursue this season.